guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to another vlog. It is currently Monday the 24th of February. Yes, I got a date right. Woohoo. 1, I miss you guys. 2, I'm sorry for like my really random hiatus inconsistency at the minute. I just feel very much in a slump creatively and in life at the minute, and I'm really struggling to just kind of like coherently put my thoughts together, and therefore every vlog I try and film, whether that's just a generic weekly vlog or whether it's a reading vlog, I start off really well on Mondays, which is today, so hopefully today is a fresh start and it's not going to turn into how the rest of the vlogs are going. But overall, February hasn't been my month. It's been very up and down, but it's the last week of the month and it finishes really nicely on a Friday, and then I have a really busy weekend this coming weekend, so I thought we could just do a Monday to Friday vlog, trying to get back on track so we can set up and be prepared and feel kind of accomplished going into March. Technically next week for me, because I'm not going to start my new month until March 3rd because I've got such a busy weekend with my sister this coming weekend, which I'm so excited for, but that's kind of like a tangent. So today's vlog, you guys are basically keeping me accountable with trying to accomplish and just achieve some of my February goals I've really slacked in or not really like prioritized, haven't completed yet, etc. So just as a little recap, if you haven't seen my monthly reset for February, I set some kind of not like overachieving goals, just some goals I thought were going to be easier to accomplish, and then the month happened and I realized nah, this isn't going to happen. So I'm really hoping that this week is going to be the week that I can just try and feel a little bit more accomplished about myself. So in February, the goals left over for me to complete / are still in progress are to have less than 3 hours of daily screen time on average. The first 2 weeks I did really well and I didn't get under 3 hours, but I definitely massively kind of like downed my overall screen time, which I was so happy about. It was kind of a goal I kind of put there just as like a little see if I can do this, and I was actually accomplishing it until last week. And last week we didn't do very well. One day I spent 5 hours on my phone, which is a really high amount for me personally. Usually it's about 3.5, 4. So doing under 3 was quite achievable for me. And then we hit Wednesday last week and I did about 5 hours and I was just like, no, this isn't it. So Monday, fresh start. Hopefully this last week of February, we're going to get under the 3 hour average mark again. So that goal is still in progress, and I have been focusing on it in February. I just want to get back to where I was in the first 2 weeks rather than where I was at last week. The next goal I'm currently in the middle of, which is kind of like the reason of my channel, is I wanted to read 7 books this month. I want to read 80 books in 2025 and I've worked that's about 7 to 8 books a month. So every single month this year I'm making a goal to read at least 7 books. And thanks to a very new addition to my TBR in February, we love World Book Day. This story is A Lie by Benjamin Dean, which is the World Book Day, one of the World Book Day books for this year. I managed to complete this book in its entirety on Friday. Current running tally of February's reads, I managed to bump up to 6. So instead of having to read 2 books this week, I only have to read 1, but I'm in the middle of 2. So I want to get those both completed this week, which is one of my mini goals. I am in the middle of reading 5 Ruined Realms by May Corland, which is the second book in the 5 Broken Blades trilogy, I want to say. I read the first one last month in January. I enjoyed it, but from the ending of the first book I kind of knew I was going to enjoy the second one more, so it kind of gave me that kind of urge to read the second book quite quickly. So I kind of like did this as like a free mood read for February because I wasn't really feeling my TBR. And then I'm in the middle of tabbing up and rereading and writing in one of my favourite books, and the reread has just kind of like solidified this. One of my favourite books of all time, The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I am 102 pages into this one and my tabs are coming along very nicely, if I do say so myself. The colours aren't to correspond with anything, they're just how I feel. I'm just kind of like going along the oranges and pinks vibes, and I didn't say how many pages. I'm about 100 pages into this one as well. 75 pages into this one, so I can definitely finish these 2 by the end of the week. Hopefully, if I focus on reading this week, that would be great. The next goal still in progress I need to work towards this week and to finalize this week is to spin / move my body 4 times a week. I've been quite good at this in terms of like moving my body overall, but in terms of like spinning 4 times a week, that hasn't been as successful. I've definitely done walks and spins combined to make up the moving my body 4 times a week, but I haven't solely spun 4 times a week. And I did put spin in brackets or move as like a little ledge down in case I didn't spin 4 times a week because I think in the back of my mind I knew that that was quite a big hefty goal for me at the minute. And this week I'm determined to spin 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe something like that, just 4 times sometime this week, just to end on a high and say that I've done it at least for the entirety of 1 week this month. And the last goal that I haven't yet started, and I won't complete because I wanted to upload twice a week on Instagram for the entire month, I haven't posted once. So this week I just want to post twice, just to say that I've done the goal at least kind of like a quarter of the way there. We'll see about that. I have all dolled up today because I want to take some Instagram pictures on my lunch break, which I'll take you along with. I did get my new sweater in the post a couple of weeks ago from an embroidery shop, which is a collaboration with Emmy Rodham, who is a massive kind of like UK booktuber at the minute, which I absolutely love. She designed this herself and then she sold it via the shop, and I've been wanting one for ages, and they were going to stop doing a collab soon, so I decided to finally get one. 5 stars is massively a feeling, and I'm really enjoying this cozy sweater. So why did I get that tangent? Because I want to take some Instagram pictures in this hoodie / jumper. That was a tangent. And then the last goal that hasn't been completed and will not ever get started is no junk food through Sunday to Thursday. That hasn't happened once. My diet has been off the record shit in February, and I'm just leaning into it right now. It is the winter months, it's hibernation, the weather's been shit, my motivation hasn't been there, it's fine. So I did create a new tab in my goals tracker on Notion for a DNF, and that is a goal that I didn't even complete, and that is where the junk food goal is going to stay. I'm not even going to try and bother doing it this week. I just don't see the point. It's fine when goals change and shift around. Most of the time I like to focus on a small amount of goals and just really hone in on them and actually complete them, but sometimes I make goals and they just don't go very well, and that's absolutely fine. And that's kind of how the healthy eating one, junk food one kind of went, and we're just going to forget that one exists. So we need to spin 4 times a week, we need to finish my 2 current reads, we need to post twice on Instagram, and we need to focus on my daily screen time. So that is what I'm going to take you along on this week for. Hopefully we can be successful together and smash out the last week strong and get ready for the new month ahead. And hopefully you enjoy this kind of like more weekly lifestyle vlog, and I'll keep you posted. Why is it that I'm so much more motivated when the sun is shining and the sky is blue? Oh, it just makes me feel so much more productive. To help me actually achieve my Instagram goal for the week, I thought it's best to just batch create some content. So I did my like jumper picture I wanted to do with my current reads, just as like a weekly update, and then I did also take a picture singularly and individually of the 7-year slip and edited that together ready for when I finish that book and I can post my 6-star review of it, because the second time around reading it is even more brilliant than the first time reading it, and I'm absolutely loving just rereading it and tabbing it up and making it part of my forever collection. So I wanted to do a post dedicated to that near the end of the week, and doing that both at the beginning of the week when I have time on my lunch break massively helps just being able to stay on top of Instagram content. As long as I keep remembering to do that, that is great, but I always forget and put Instagram on the back burner, which I don't want to do, but always happens. Tuesday. What an absolute faff this morning was. I got all ready to spin. I was actually feeling motivated to spin for once because I was filming this video and my spin class didn't work, so I haven't managed to spin today. I was so disheartened this morning. Like, it's rare at the minute for me to be motivated to spin. I'm usually forcing myself to spin. So the fact I was like, yes, let's go at like 5:15 in the morning as well, by the way, because that's the time I have to spin before going into the office for work, which I do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I was up early, ready to spin, and then the app was like, no. So that was very frustrating. Alas, yesterday I did manage to read a little bit of the 7-year slip by Ashley Poston, so I'm now 147 pages into this one and just loving my reread so much. This is definitely nothing like a 6-star like all-time favourite book, and I'm tabbing it up so much, I don't know if you can see that, I'm tabbing it up so much that I've run out pretty much of 3 of the colours that I'm using already, and I'm not even halfway through the book yet because I am tabbing so much and I'm just loving my read of it. I did also manage to read a very, very tiny bit of 5 Broken Realms by Maya Corland. I really wanted to love this book more. I really thought it was going to be more action-packed from the get-go with the way that the first book ended, but it's still building up to more, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm that invested. I love the 6 main characters. This is very much more, I'm in reading this book way more for the characters than I am for any of the world building or the plot, but it's just not like hooking me like I wanted it to, especially after like the anticipation of where the first book ended. And today one of my most anticipated releases of this year came out. The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy came out, and I pre-ordered it and it arrived straight to my Kindle. So now I'm like, do I continue with 5 Realms or do I start the Charlie Method? I'll only need to finish 1 book in its entirety this week to complete my 7 books for the month challenge. But I'm 100 pages into this one and I just feel like I should keep going with it. But oh my god, the Charlie Method is so tempting right now. So that's where we're at in terms of like trying to complete my goals. My screen time today has been absolutely shockingly appalling. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get the below average of 3 hours this week again, because I don't know, I'm addicted to my phone again. I did really well for the first 2 weeks, but last week and this week is not looking very, very ideal, but we'll do all that check-in at the end. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at currently reading. I'm going to go for a walk this evening with Mark. Tiger and curry is on the stove. Mark is cooking. I'm very excited for dinner. Go for a walk and then we'll chill out and maybe watch White Lotus, potentially. We're on to season 2. We didn't love season 1, but we might attempt season 2 and then I'll read for the rest of the evening. I'll probably dip into both of them and then maybe potentially scrap this one and read a Charlie Method, but I really don't want to let this one go because I feel like the only chance for me to read it is right now when I'm in the mood to read it, otherwise I'll just never read it. So we'll see and I'll keep you posted. Wednesday actually started out a lot better for me, and the fact that the spin class and my app actually worked this morning was great. I just did a quick 20-minute workout with Duncan. As you can see, I'm still half asleep, but that was because it was like 5:15 in the morning. But I got it done and I'm very proud of myself. So that was 2 out of the spin classes I needed to complete this week. And then when I got home in the evening, I did sit down with Mark while he was sorting out his new Pokemon cards. We have both recently got into Pokemon. Mark has got back into Pokemon and collecting certain packs, whereas I've just enjoyed watching him get excited, and I've also enjoyed watching some Pokemon videos, and I like watching him unpack the cards and seeing what he gets. But whilst he was sorting out all his cards, I was just reading a bit more of 4 Ruined Realms, and I read about 30 pages this day. So not a lot, but slow progress, steady progress on my way to reading the completion of this book this week. And Thursday was where I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be very successful in my last week of February. I had only kind of read less than 50 pages a day of either a 7-year slip or 4 Ruined Realms. I definitely hadn't lowered my screen time to less than 3 hours a day, and my movement and my habits just weren't very great because I didn't spin on Thursday morning either. So here I was just filling out my habit trackers and my bullet journal as much as I could, but yes, Thursday didn't go very well at all. Happy Friday. Let's just quickly run through the goals I set at the beginning of the week to try and end February on a high. The first one was to spin 4 times. I spun well on Monday. I didn't succeed on spinning on Tuesday because the app wasn't cooperating, so that wasn't my fault. And then I spun on Wednesday. I didn't spin yesterday. I haven't spun today. So that's twice out of the 4 days. I am going to spin today, but I'm going to spin this evening because I've got a whole weekend with my sister. I wanted fresh hair and wash it this evening rather than washing it like I usually do after spin in the morning. So I'm going to spin this evening after I finish work and then shower and wash my hair. So I am going to spin today. So I would have completed that goal 3 times, not the 4 that I intended. But hey, life is life, it happens. The second goal I wanted to complete this week was to finish my 2 current reads, none of which have been completed. So to give you an update, I am 190 pages into 4 Ruined Realms, which is 45% of the way through. Enjoying, but not loving, and I'm only reading this when I don't want to read 7-Year Slip because I don't want to take a physical book to me to work, or I don't want to read it in bed because annotating in bed is very, very difficult. So this is kind of like my easy read, and I am enjoying it, but reading hasn't once again been a priority this week, and I don't know what's going on with me, but something is going on with me and I don't know what. And then I haven't really touched the 7-year slip since Tuesday, so I'm only 147 pages into this one. I don't think I'm going to get either of these books finished today. And is today the last day? Yeah, today is the last day of February because tomorrow's March. So yeah, not succeeded very well, and I haven't even touched The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. So reading has definitely been a fail this week. So the whole vlogging to keep myself accountable hasn't really gone that well. I think the only goal that I might actually achieve this week is to upload 2 Instagram posts. I uploaded the first one on Monday with you guys, and then I obviously took extra photos to upload another one later this week. I was going to upload the last one today once I'd finished a 7-year slip, because the last one I wanted to post was some of my annotations and just basically reviewing the fact that the 7-year slip has kind of solidified its way into like some of my favourite books of all time, like 6-star worthy. But I haven't finished that book yet, so I don't know whether I can actually post that picture that I took yet. I'm not sure. So will I actually complete any of my goals for this week / for February? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that is where we're at. I haven't really succeeded, but that's okay. It's fine. It is what it is. Hopefully March will be a better month for me. And talking of March, on my lunch break today, we will sit down and do my traditional resets. We'll talk through all of my February goals. We'll recap. We'll do my highs and my lows in a month. And then we'll go in and talk about all the books I managed to read in February, all the books I hauled, where we're at of my priority TBR, where we're at of my physical TBR, and then go in and set some goals for March. And hopefully they're going to be a little bit more successful than they were in February. So I'll see you on my lunch break, but now I've got to get to work. I am back, and we're going to speedily go through my goals for February, because I feel like I spoke about them a lot at the beginning of this video, so I don't feel like we need to spend too much time on going through them, but I'll quickly kind of like give you an overview of all my goals I set in February and kind of where we're at with all of them, even though this past week was meant to be focusing on them, but I didn't really do that. So let me quickly share my Notion screen. We're back in my favorite place to be, my goal tracker, and let's quickly go through the ones that I completed and set at the beginning of February. And the first one was to scrapbook Bertie's arrival. If you didn't know, Bertie is my brand new Fiat, and I love him dearly. And I did scrapbook his arrival, so tick 5 stars. Scrapbook my dad's birthday, I did tick 5 stars. I finished, can we all just take a round of applause for me? I finished the Disney photo album. We went to Disney in September of 2024, and it's taken me October, November, December, January, February, 5 months, almost half a year to get this photo album finished, but I did it. And I'm very happy, and I gave it myself a 5 star because, it was a long process, but I finally did it. I did do my 45-minute spin class, which, if you didn't know, I'm doing 12 in 12 this year. And one of my categories of the 12 in 12 is to do 12 45-minute spin classes, 1 a month. And I did my February one, so yay for me. And the last one that I managed to completely complete with a 5-star rating, in my personal opinion, was to find and make one new recipe. Me and Mark tried these chicken mango chutney burritos, which were really, really good from Gusto. So we don't pay for Gusto's subscription, but all their recipes are free online. You just have to then go out and buy the ingredients yourself, which we absolutely don't mind doing. So we found a new recipe, we tried it, and we liked it, and it's in our recipe catalogue. So yay, 5 stars for us. Let's go into the ones that I didn't complete. The first one is a less than 3-hour daily average screen time. The first 2 weeks, like I said at the beginning of the video, went very, very well. Last week didn't go well, because last week we had an average of 3 hours and 39 minutes, which isn't horrendous. It's just that it's not where I want it to be. And then this week, though, going back down again to an average of 3 hours and 29 minutes. So progress again, but the first 2 weeks were a lot better, and I actually managed to get 1 week under a daily average of 3 hours at like 2 hours 58 minutes or something like that. I did actually track it. So if we open this goal here, there you go, I tracked it the first 2 weeks. So my first week was 3 hours and 5 minutes. So I was like, that's really good. And then the second week I did 2 hours and 57 minutes on average. And then I stopped tracking it because week 3 was absolutely atrocious. One day I spent 5 hours on my phone. And this past week, see, I've vlogged it for you and it hasn't gone very well at all. So I'm not going to say we completed that one. So I'm not actually going to tick it off, which is really sad. I'm going to say it as a did not finish, which is a new category I added to my goal tracker, which is really sad. Okay, and the next one is to read 7 books. Like I've told you, I haven't done this. I read 6. I'm in the middle of 2. 4 Ruin Realms and the 7-year slip. And I'm not going to finish this video today. I thought I was, but I decided not to. I am going to. I got the evening to myself. Mark is out of the house. So I am going to sit down and try and finish the 7-year slip and get the final book, the 7th book that I need to read to stay on track with my Goodreads goal, finished tonight. And I'm going to vlog the experience and take you along. And then on Monday, on my lunch break, I will talk you through all the books I've read and hauled in the month of February once I've finally finished the 7 books that I need to read. So I'm still not going to tick that one off just yet. I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to complete it by midnight tonight. Spin or move 4 times a week. Now, I wanted to spin 4 times a week. That didn't happen. But I also put in a bracket of move 4 times a week. So let's check my habit tracker. No. Okay. I was going to say, oh, I might have actually still been able to do it. But the habit tracker for movement is the first one. This one here. And as you can see, I didn't move or spin at least 4 times a week. So can't tick that one off, which is a shame. So that's also a DNF. And then the last one is to post twice a week on Instagram. Once again, I didn't do it. It's also a DNF. So that's where we're at with February, but we're on to a new month. So let's set some goals for March. I'm still going to delete all of these goals, even though I'm still working towards that 7th book, because my goals are also in my bullet journal. So hopefully I can tick off the 7 book one once I've completed it just in my bullet journal. So let's delete all these and let's set some goals for March. Let's start with our easy ones that we set every month. And the first one is to do a 45-minute spin class times 1 45-minute spin class. It is personal. The due date is end of March. Just realised that I am not doing it in my captured area. Need to add the bike, and then we can capture it. So that's the one that I always try and do every month. It is Pancake Day in March, which is really exciting. I love a good pancake day. I'm actually spending the evening with my mum on Pancake Day as well. So I'm going to make pancakes as a goal because I feel like otherwise you might forget to do it, and I just feel like it would be just a nice easy one, especially after the chaos and the failure of February. I think some nice easy goals in March. I say some easy because I do have a few challenging ones in there as well that I want to really focus on. So make pancakes, end of March, home, monthly, captured. Now that I've actually finished my 2024 Disney scrapbook, I want to go and revisit my 2019 Disney scrapbook. If you didn't know, in 2019, I worked for the Walt Disney World Company and I worked in food and beverage in the actual theme parks in Animal Kingdom. And that was in 2019. That was 6 years ago this summer. Don't talk to me about the time passing. I cannot believe it's been 6 years, but I still haven't finished that scrapbook. So I'm going to make it a goal to do 2 pages times 2 pages of Disney 2019 scrapbook, just to get ahead, not even ahead of the game. I am way past the game, but just to keep on top of it and actually make it something at the forefront of my mind so that I don't forget to do it and leave it empty. Because I've been so intimidated with that scrapbook for so long because I've made it really creative and artistic, and I draw a lot and I illustrate a lot in that scrapbook, and I'm just intimidated to constantly do it. So I want to make it a monthly goal to do 2 pages so it stays in the forefront of my mind. Another easy one to complete. I say easy, it should be easier. We have a longer month this month. 7 books. My March TBR went a lot smoother than my February one, so I only have 5 books set on my March TBR, and I'm in a very much like a mood reading month this month, so hopefully it means I can get a lot of reading done and read the books I really want to read rather than being forced to read the books that are put on my monthly TBR, because for some reason I'm in like a weird mood reading mood. I'm not usually a mood reader, but at the minute I feel like I want to be. So hopefully the fact that I only have 5 books set on my monthly TBR this month will allow me to spend some time mood reading and allow me to get out of this like weird reading phase I'm in, because I'm not really in a slump because I'm still reading. I just think I'm not reading the books I'm really excited for and the books I'm giving high ratings, so I'm just kind of a little bit of a about reading at the minute. Another goal that I tried to do a lot in 2024 and didn't really tend to complete, so this is very much like we'll see how we go, we'll test the waters, is to stretch once a week. This is just because if I want to keep moving my body well and allow it to progress, I want to incorporate stretching, because otherwise there's no point in working out if you're not stretching and recovering properly. So I want to stretch once a week, which is going to be a challenge. I'm kind of hoping it can be on a Sunday, maybe in the afternoon or the evening, just something like easy, like maybe a Pilates kind of a vibe, or maybe just a yoga flow, or maybe it is just a stretch. We'll see, but hopefully that'll allow me to start incorporating stretching into my routine again, because I definitely haven't been stretching at all this year, and it's something that I want to start incorporating again. March is also the end of a tax year, which means I can start investing more into my pension. So I am going to put a goal as to invest / increase monthly, let's get rid of the invest, actually increase monthly contributions to pension, because I am a big girl and I want to look after my pension. I want to set myself up for the future. So I'm going to be a good girl and put some more money into my pension this month. I had a set amount that I put in monthly as a direct debit for the last like year and a half. I want to increase that amount now. So that's what I'm going to do in March. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to get onto my pension. I am going to get it all sorted. So monthly captured. I haven't set an Instagram goal this month, which is fine because clearly I'm not very good at it. But there is a YouTube goal I do want to focus on. And not only was my reading a bit meh in February, my creative juices were also kind of lacking in February. I started so many weekly reading vlogs and just stopped filming and updating them like by Wednesday. And I love weekly reading vlogs so much. They're my favorite content to watch. I love going back and watching my old weekly reading vlogs and seeing what my thoughts were about books I read 1, 2, 3 years ago. I love the fact that I have this YouTube channel as like a time capsule of like reading my favorite books for the first time. Like I have on vlogs me reading the 7 Year Slip for the first time. I have on vlogs me reading A Man Called Uwe for the first time. And it's just like, I think I even have me reading Olive for the first time on a vlog, potentially. Maybe not. But what I'm saying is I love the fact that I've captured so many moments of my reading journey through weekly reading vlogs. And the fact I've got out of the habit of doing them makes me really upset, because I love doing them and I love watching them and I love the whole concept around them. So I am doing a weekly reading vlog every week this March. I'm going to put weekly reading vlogs, because I also want to do them weekly, but they're also called weekly reading vlogs, every week. So you'll get one for the week of the 3rd to the 9th, the 10th to the 16th, the 17th to the 23rd, and the 24th to the 30th. And they all have themes. And I feel like I'm going to treat you guys and tell you what the themes are, in also another sort of like help of me to keep myself accountable. And if I tell you guys what the themes are, you might then get excited for them, and then I can't let you guys down. So if we go to Rachel Cerys' planner, which is my YouTube tracker on Notion, this is my content schedule for March. And as you can see, I'm currently filming a monthly reset. And then we have a Kindle TBR dedicated reading vlog, where I'm going to be reading books that are on my March TBR that are just on my Kindle. So if you see on March TBR, you might be able to figure out exactly what books I'm going to be reading for that vlog. And then because I've done a Kindle TBR specific vlog, I'm going to do a physical TBR specific vlog. And then I'm going to attempt, once again, I did this once and I got so close to completing it. I'm going to do it again because once again, I want to up my reading game again. I want to be spending more time every day reading, which I'm not doing at the minute. I'm reading less than 50 pages a day at the minute, which is not where I want to be. I want to be back up to that 100 sort of page mark a day. So I'm going to be doing the 24-hour timer challenge again. So not 24-hour readathon, just like setting a 24-hour timer and seeing how far I can get to actually completing that entire timer across the week of reading. And then one last one, I'm going to do Instagram controls my weekly reading for a week. And I'm going to put some books on polls on Instagram of potentially books that are on my March TBR that I haven't got around to yet, because obviously it's going to be at the end of the month, this vlog. And also maybe some mood reads I'm in the mood for that you guys can help me pick which I'm reading. So those are the 4 weekly reading vlogs that you should look forward to in March, because they are coming. They are determined to start weekly reading vlogging weekly. I'm excited to start vlogging my weekly reading again. And just doing this kind of like weekly reading monthly reset thing has also massively helped me kind of get my mojo back for vlogging. So those are all my March goals: spinning, weekly reading vlogs, increasing my monthly pension, stretching once a week, 7 books, 2 pages in my Disney 2019 scrapbook, and making some pancakes. I feel like this should be a good month. I'm hopeful for March. We're into spring. Hopefully the weather's going to be nicer. I'm going to feel more motivated. So I'm really excited for the month ahead. And I will see you on Monday when we wrap up all the books I read, because I am going to be finishing this bad boy today. I guarantee it. Come on. Got over half of it, but we've got this. We've got this. It is now the Monday that I said I would update and finish off this vlog, which I'm doing. It is the 3rd of March, so did I complete my February TBR or not? These are the books on my February TBR. These are the books I completed from my February TBR. So no, I didn't complete my February TBR, in short. There were 8 books on my monthly TBR this past month. I knew that I wasn't going to get them all done, and it's absolutely fine. I set TBRs, yes, to try and complete them, but also just to give myself some structure across the month, because I'm not predominantly a mood reader. Sometimes I have the urge to pick up random books that aren't on my monthly TBRs, but most of the time I like sticking to them, and they give me a smaller collection of books to pick between when it comes to picking out the books that I want to read. February was a very weird month for me in terms of my reading. I was very all over the place. It took me a lot longer to finish books than usual. I was just very distracted. I didn't really want to read a lot of the time, but I still managed to complete a total, I want to say, of 7 books. I finished my 7th book this morning, but I read the last like 20 pages this morning. So I'm going to count it as part of my February stats. So in February, I read a total of 7 books. I DNF'd 2 books, because I think I'm officially DNFing a book, because I'm just not gravitating towards it, and I just don't see the point in lingering on my currently reading shelf if I'm just not gravitated to read it. So the 2 books I DNF'd was How to End a Love Story, as well as 4 Ruined Realms. I'm sad about the latter because I really thought I was going to enjoy this book more, but I'm 50% of the way through, and I just, like I said, have no urge to pick it up. So those are the 2 books I DNF'd. But other than that, it was a really successful reading month in terms of rating. So I started off the month with Bookshops and Bone Dust by Charles Baldry, which unfortunately I think was probably my least favourite book this month, and I gave it a 3-star. It just wasn't as good as Legends and Lattes, and it didn't really follow the same kind of like structure. It was definitely less cozy fantasy and more fantasy, and personally that's not kind of what I went in the book expecting, which is probably completely on me. So just go in with a little bit of pinch of salt. If you did really enjoy Legends and Lattes, it does definitely take a little bit of a turn. And then I listened to The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, and I gave this one a 4-star. I really enjoyed this one. This is the first book in her second kind of companion series. I don't know if there's gonna be more than 2 books, but there's currently only 2 books out. The Cheat Sheet is a sports romance, and the rule book that came out last summer, which I haven't read yet, is in the same universe. So I'm assuming there's gonna be more in the series, but I'm not sure yet. I did really enjoy The Cheat Sheet, and I'm excited to go into the rule book, and I gave that one a 4-star. I then read Out of the Woods by Hannah Boehm Young, completing off another duology. So the first one in this one being Out on a Limb, which I read and gave 5 stars to. I really enjoyed Out on the Woods, but I didn't love it as much, and it got a 4-star from me. I then read Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey, which was a book I wasn't expecting to read this month. It was on my TBR, it just wasn't a book that I was like ever thought I was going to get around to, and I ended up having a really fun time reading it. Once again, giving it a 4-star. This is an LGBTQ romance book, female. I then read another 3-star, which I think I enjoyed more than Bookshops and Bone Dust, but it still fell within the same category, and that was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This was a book that I was really intrigued to read, because this year one of my goals is to really read more books with more substance, is what I call them. So like contemporary books that have like a deeper meaning, not just like your typical fluffy romances. Although I still love them, I just want to get sometimes a little bit more out of my reading than just a fun romance. I finally got around to Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and I enjoyed it while I was reading it. Trigger warnings for suicide, depression, social pressures, and parental pressures as well in this book. But overall, it was my 3-star ratings are books I enjoyed enjoyed whilst reading, but in a few weeks, a few months time, I'm not going to really remember them, and this book definitely fits in that category. This was where in the month my reading was really slowing down and I really didn't think I was going to get another book finished, so I picked up Benjamin Dean's brand new book, which is part of the World Book Day celebration, and this is a book called This Story Is a Lie, and it's literally just 100 pages of a YA mystery thriller, which I had a fun time reading, read in one sitting, and I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars just because I don't think I could give it a 4-star just because there wasn't that much plot within it, because it was very much an 100-page novella and it very much wasn't anything unique in terms of storytelling and plot. But I love Benjamin Dean's writing. It makes me really excited to read future releases of his, which he does have one coming out later this year, which I'm really excited to read. So yeah, I enjoyed this one, but once again, I definitely think it's not going to be one that I remember or stays in my brain for longer than a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Then the final book that I finished in February, which I technically finished on March 3rd this morning before starting work, but I'm going to count it as one of my February reads, is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. And I brought this one just to show you because look how many tabs there are. This has now, on a reread, solidified as one of my 6-star books, and I'm so glad that I tabbed it up and wrote in it and made it part of my forever collection, which is what I'm really trying to do this year, trying to reread one of my favourite books once a month and then getting it part of my forever collection, so I do have all my thoughts and feelings down in all my favourite books, and this was just the first one of many, hopefully, rereads this year. And I fucking love this book so much. It's so good. I love everything about it. There isn't like any point in this book where I don't like it. It's a solid 6-star and I absolutely enjoyed my time reading it. And I used so many tabs. I went through 2 collection of tabs to make sure all the colours stay consistent because I used that many. And I just, yeah, absolutely love my time reading it. It was a perfect way to end February. So referring to my reading journal, going to my monthly stats page, read a total of 7 books in February, spanning across 1,711 pages. So not my best reading month in terms of accumulation of pages in the slightest. 2 of them were physical books, 2 of them were audiobooks, 3 of them were ebooks, 4 of them I owned, 3 of them I didn't own, so they were on my Kindle Unlimited or on Scribd/Everand. I gave 1 5-star, which was technically my 6-star. I didn't find a new 5-star this month, which is sad, but hopefully March has better things for me. I hauled 2 books. So the 2 books I hauled this month were This Story Is a Lie by Benjamin Dean, which was £1. And then I also hauled on my Kindle for 99p The Baby Dragon Cafe, which I really want to get to soon, but I feel like we're coming into spring and summer now, so I'm not sure how many cozy fantasies I'm going to be reading over the next couple of months, but I have it on my Kindle ready to read when the mood suits me. I unhauled 1 book, so unfortunately I am going to be unhauling Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng because it was one of those books that I enjoyed reading, but I'm never going to revisit it. I'm not going to remember it in months to come, and I'm trying to keep my book collection to those 4, 4.5, 5 stars and 6-star reads. So this is one to go in the unhaul pile. 4 books were standalones and 3 of them were part of series, completing 1 series as well, which is really, really exciting, but also starting another series. I finished the Out on a Limb, Out of the Woods series, but I also started the Read Between the Lines companion series, so weighing up, not great, but progress is progress nevertheless. And then the final thing I just wanted to update you guys on is my physical TBR number and my priority TBR. So at the beginning of 2025, I created a list of, I want to say 15 to 18 books. I can't remember the exact number of books I wanted to get around to in 2025. I didn't tick off as many in February as I did in January, but that is fine because I am still very much on track. So in February, I managed to complete my physical TBR category by reading Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. So now that entire section is complete. And then I also managed to complete another book in the series to finish category of reading Out of the Woods by Hannah Boehm Young. And I think that's it. Yes, that's it. And then in my rereads category, obviously I managed to read The 7-Year Slip, which was such a good reread, and I'm so, so glad I did it in February because I think it's the perfect rom-com. It has emotion, it has humour, it has swoon-worthy moments, it has a lot of life lessons, it's written beautifully, and it's just like pure perfection in my eyes. So I'm so glad that I managed to reread 7-Year Slip in February. I'm kind of wanting to reread Anxious People or Addie LaRue in March. We'll see about that, but that's kind of like what I'm feeling. Or maybe even a 24-Hour Cafe by Louis Page. We'll see. But that's where out of my priority TBR, I ticked off another 2 books this month, and I now only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books left to read with 9 months left to go, which is really exciting. So at least one a month, and I think I can do it. I'm very, very excited to, I think, most likely, manageably complete my priority TBR this year. And drum roll please. So we started off the year on 34 physical books on my TBR. In January, we managed to bump it down to 33 books. And I'm pleased to say, at the end of February, we're at a grand total of 31 books. We're almost into the 20s. And because when I was creating my March TBR, I really focused on picking books for my physical TBR rather than my Kindle, I have quite a lot of physical books on my TBR this month. So I think if I manage to read my March TBR in its entirety, I will be down into the 20s in terms of how many books are on my physical TBR, which is very, very exciting indeed. So there we have it. That is my entire kind of like reset video. Very different style, something new to try out I wanted to experiment with this month. So let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this sort of style, and if you enjoyed the kind of like vlog section at the beginning. I'd love to know your feedback and your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a massive thumbs up, and like I said, comment down below to let me know kind of like what you're vibing with. Do you prefer the old style? Do you prefer this style? Do you like the segments that are in it? I'm really trying to find my groove with these monthly resets and trying to make them my own without having the pressure of like making it like a really aesthetic montage cleaning thing, because that's just not my vibe, I've discovered. So let me know your thoughts down below, what segments you like, what segments you think I should include, etc. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video, because one of my goals in March that we discussed is weekly reading vlogs. So I'm about to start the intro of my first weekly reading vlog in March, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any weekly reading vlogs coming in March, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.